Welcome to The Good, the Bad and the Ghetto. I'm Lisa, your host for today, and you're probably wondering what's happened with the potty, what's going on with our guests, and what's going on with the series. Well, today's potty is an introduction to a new series called Women's in Sport. Now, I started off with recording with guests, interviewing them, but it was just getting way too long. And I myself have a short attention span, and I like to keep the potty to 15 minutes max. So I decided to create a 2-part series. But nevertheless, with all that in store, I think today's episode we will introduce the topic of women's sport. Now, I know that women's sport is evidently behind for numerous of reasons, and the leading women's sports have still not bridged the gap between men who play the similar sports or the same sports. But I can't sit here and argue and point fingers and talk about how women are more deserving and more opportunities, without hearing both perspectives of the story and both perspectives of people on the come up and people who are coming up and trying to be better athletes or athletes in general and comparing their stories. Now, I rather sit here and open a discussion and see where this could be headed and where women's sport is going and how it's doing currently in comparison of boys and men's sport. Now, the guests that will be joining us for this series are Jaya Ingram, currently plays in the Rogers Cup League. Taylor Robertson, also Rogers Cup, came back from an injury. Seisha Hanavan, 2 ACLs, coming back from an injury, but on the come up as well. And I guess it wouldn't be fair if I just got the girls in the potty. I guess we're going to have some male guests to come onto the potty as well and have a chat with us. But I'm going to leave those a surprise, keep a bit of suspense for the next episode. Now, it's hard for me personally to say that men have it easier in sports because they have been given plethora of opportunities at the lower levels and plethora of training from beginning, always being encouraged to pick up whatever the sport is. There are a number of more men. Like, the numbers are so much more in men's sport. Therefore, the competition is hard. It's hard to be the best. It's hard to beat the best when you have so many of numbers of these people who have exactly the same skill set. It's just who is a player who's more mandible to change their way they play to play the player's game. That was a lot of play, whatever. But in saying that, that does not mean getting into women's sport is any easier, because as sure as shit, it's just as hard. Because with the lack of the same grassroots opportunities at the grassroots level, like Oz Kicks and all that, and less encouragement around girls getting around male predominant sports, there is less numbers, but it's hard getting to be the best when you're surrounded by people who are the best again. So the lack there of numbers still increases the competition, because it's just like, if there are a shit ton of good people and you're just like average, and fuck, you got there, but in the end you didn't really get there. So I guess there is both, the competition is heavy on both sides, and it's not just because of the genders the gender roles and where we're headed. It's more so from the grassroots levels. And so therefore, I think that in saying that, the good, the bad and the ghetto will be assessing all aspects of women's sport and seeing what we can discuss, what we can sort out, what we can talk about. But until then, this has just been an introduction to series. I will see you all next Friday. The series premieres on Friday at 8 p.m. and the part 2 will be uploaded on the following Saturday night, 8 p.m. So get around it, get rowdy and get excited. This has been the good, the bad and the ghetto. I'll see you later and see you next week.